Hello student, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our class today. So in this class, I will be talking about the whole syllabus and the marks distribution of HSC level. So in the HSC level, you have two papers, the first paper and the second paper. I'll be talking about the syllabus and marks distribution of English second paper. So let's go to the main topic.
You have to face exam for 100 marks and it will be divided into two parts. Part 1 is grammar and this is 60 and the composition will carry 40 marks. So let's go for the detail. At first, I would like to focus on the grammar test items. Actually, you have to face the activities in your exam and you have to be skilled, you have to get the expertise in these items. The first item is gap filling activities with articles, and this is definitely without clues, and you know it very well because you have done this in your SSC or even JSC level. So these gap filling activities, this is without clues and you have to fill in the gaps with articles where necessary. And number 2, you have to complete the gap filling activities with prepositions. That means this is a really tough one and this is without clues. You have to fill in the gaps with prepositions based on the words or the sentences or the context. Number 3, this is gap filling with phrases or words of a special use. In English, there are some phrases or words of a special use. For example, was born, have to, has to, would rather, had better, let alone, what if, as if. These are for examples and you will get the clues in a box. So you can do it easily and this is an excellent gap filling activity. Number 4, you know it very well, the completing sentences. And there will be incomplete sentences and you have to complete the sentences, use the conditionals, phrases and clauses. So if you want to get these marks or if you want to complete the sentences, you have to get the idea about the conditionals, phrase and clauses. Okay, go for the next slide. This one is the use of verbs. That means we know it very well, the right form of verbs, and especially you have to fill in the gaps with the right form of verbs based on the subject and verb agreement. And one thing you have to remember that whatever you will do it, you have to do based on the context. In your HSC level or in your Alim level, the context is very important. That means the passages, the sentences, these are very important in your syllabus. Then changing sentences as directed. That means there will be direction that which sentence you have to change, and that means you have to change some voice, you have to change the sentence type, that means simple, complex, compound, and you have to change the degrees, that means positive, comparative and superlative. So these all together, this item, changing sentences. Then you have to develop your skill in changing narrative style. But in your SSC level, you change the narrative style from direct to indirect. But here, one thing you have to keep it in your mind that this is vice versa. That means you have to change the narrative style of the passage or text from direct to indirect, or maybe you have to change from indirect to direct. And then this is the new one in your syllabus, correcting unclear pronoun reference or pronoun agreement. You will be given a passage or a text and there will be some unclear pronoun reference. And you have to be very careful about the use of pronoun and the different forms of pronoun, different uses of pronouns, and you have to make the unclear pronoun reference or agreement clear. You have to correct the unclear pronoun. Then this is another item, the gap filling with modifiers. There will be 10 gaps and there will be the direction, and you have to modify the words, modify the parts of speech with the directed words or directed terms. That means you will be asked to modify a noun with an adjective or with a participle or with, there are so many modifiers, maybe pre-modifier or post-modifier. So this one is really new for you. And there will be another one, the gap filling with sentence connectors. You have already done these sentence connectors in your HSC level, but here the context is a little bit more difficult or complex. So gap filling with sentence connectors, you have to connect the sentences, you have to connect the words or phrases, and you have to use the appropriate connectors to connect the sentences of the text. Then writing synonym and antonym. Usually think that synonym and antonym, this is word based, but in HSC level, in your syllabus, you have to write these synonyms and antonyms based on the context. That means you have to understand the passage, you have to understand the text, and you have to understand the meaning of the words as used in the context. And you have to write the synonym and antonym as mentioned in the question paper. And then correcting punctuation errors. In your earlier syllabus, you corrected the punctuation errors. That means you have used the punctuation marks in the text. But here, one new problem, that there will be 10 errors in punctuation and you have to correct them. One thing is very important, I'd like to mention, that question setters will use all items from the above list and make questions for 5 marks for each question item. That means there will be 12 items, each item will carry 5 marks for you. But one thing is actually really challenging for you. This is, most of the items will give you 10 tasks. That means one task will carry 0.5 marks. That means you will get 5 marks for completing 10 tasks. So don't worry, I think time will say, that means with the passage of time, when we will practice and if we work hard, definitely it will not be a problem. Okay, this is all about the grammar test items. And now let's go for the composition test items. Composition test items, that means the writing part. Here the formal letter or email. You have to write a formal letter or email for 8 marks. And then report writing, and the report writing will be based on newspaper. Mostly the report will be for newspaper, and this will give you 8 marks. And this is very common to you, paragraphs, but your paragraphs will be based on different types. That means you may have to write narrative paragraphs, comparison and contrast paragraphs, or cause and effect paragraph. So it's very common to you and it's very simple for you, I think. And another one, the free writing, which is called short composition. You have to write a short composition of about 200 to 250 words based on your personal experience, everyday problems, familiar topics, recent events, and incidents. But this composition may be descriptive or narrative or persuasive, argumentative, imaginative, or it may be creative writing. And it will give you 14 marks. So these all together, you will get 60 marks from your grammar part and 40 marks from your composition test part. So I hope we will be able to complete the syllabus within our particular or fixed time, and we will make a brilliant result. That means we will make a good figure in our exam. So be with us and enjoy the classes. I think it will help you. So thank you very much, and very soon I will be with you with a new class, with a new lesson. Thank you once again. Assalamu alaikum.